It says you're live. We are live. Can anyone see us yet? No pre-stream today.
I can see it. I can see us. I can see us. There we are.
That's me.
What?
That's me.
Hey, that's me. What am I doing up there? How'd I get there? We went straight to live this week.
Yeah, went straight to live because, sorry, it took a while to get going. Several things in OBS got unlinked. So I had to relink various scene elements, and I was kind of scrambling last minute as it was, and then, you don't exactly expect OBS to not have its crap together when you open it. So I was opening that like minutes before, and
Heck yeah, we're doing okay though.
Yeah.
All right. So this will be kind of cool. Like, we had a lot of backwards compatible games, at least in my library, but you went out and bought a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
Like, we were in the Discord voice chat with some other Discord friends, like on our Discord server, and you were like furiously typing in the eBay, buying stuff. And
it was
before they're selling.
It was a race against time though, because this was like pretty much right as the event was ending, and already as you were searching for these, like you'd search and then there'd be like one or two that you'd click on. It's like, this listing has ended. So
crazy.
Very clearly a number of these games were going to be going up in price, when the next listings come around, I'm sure. So I was like, oh, I better get like most of the things I'm interested in that I don't have. So yeah, I spent some money. The only kind of expensive ones though really was Otogi 1 and 2, which those have been, relatively high price for Xbox games for a while, and I've been interested in them for years just out of curiosity of what a From Software action game from that time would be like, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's about what you expect.
Yeah. So, I was like, I just need to get it over with. I need to get these games that I'm interested in. And, you had an Xbox back in the day. You had an Xbox 360 for most of that generation. I am more comparatively new to Xbox. My libraries, especially for the original Xbox, are not vast. Right. Xbox 360 has been so cheap, and the backwards compatibility aspect has been really fun as well. So I've bought a lot of 360 games. It's still not as many as I have PS3 games, but a fair number of 360 games. Just because it's generally so easy to get them for cheap, and it's fun just to get stuff that's on backwards compatibility. And because of that, I've double dipped on a lot of games that I had for PS3 because, in general, the 360 versions are better anyway, and often they're even better on, the current gen systems.
Yeah.
So I did buy several games, but we're mostly going to look at the games that were newly added to backwards compatibility. But we will, I think, also look at a few that maybe newly got like FPS boosts. Like I brought Sonic Unleashed down here because I know that was kind of considered a big deal. Because I don't think that one ever got a PC port. Is that correct? So people, hardcore Sonic fans have been looking, to Xbox backwards compatibility for that one, with quite a bit of interest.
Yeah.
That's
cool. I'm excited to see. I went through, I had a kind of a large stack of games that I already had, and I just set them all up. You can just put the disc in, have it download the stuff, and then swap it out. And I did all those, and then I got busy with other stuff, and I haven't even looked at them yet.
Well, what's so interesting? I've been saying for a while now that the list on the Xbox website, if you search for, I do it all the time. Just Google search Xbox backwards compatibility, and it brings you straight to their website where you can search their database for backwards compatible games. And I've been saying for a while, like, this list is not accurate because I have put games, I've put every game in the system just to be sure. Every game I have. And there have been at least 2 that are not on that list and do install. Prince of Persia, the 2018, 2019 one.
Oh no, it's older than that, right? It's got to be like 2009 or so 2008. I think it's 2008.
Oh, that's what I meant to say. Did I say 18, 19? I meant 2008. I think it's 2008, 2009. It's one of those years. No, that one is backwards compatible, and I pretty recently got Silent Hill Downpour, which also installed and was not on the list. Well, I learned from people in our Discord that there are disc-only games, and I don't know where Xbox officially lists those. So, but if you go to the Wikipedia page, the disc-only games are listed. And I saw some people talking about 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, which I saw a lot of people were happy to see that be backwards compatible. I don't have that, but that is
you think that's to get around some sort of like
licensing thing, I guess.
Licensing stuff, yeah.
But that is that was newly added, I believe, in this new round, but it is not. You cannot just go buy it. You can't just go buy it for backwards compatibility. So, or I don't know. Can you even go buy it on Xbox 360? I don't know.
I'm gonna look right now.
So, anyway, it turns out Silent Hill Downpour and Prince of Persia 2008 or whatever the year was, are among those. And I don't know if Microsoft officially has a list of those anywhere. But yeah, you might want to look at the Wikipedia page. In fact, if you go by whatever
Ace Combat 6,
it's
on there as disc only.
If you whatever column that the disc only games are in, if you click to sort by it, you can just get all of the disc only games like in a block.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
So
right now.
Go to Wikipedia. Anyone who's curious to see if do I have some games on here that I actually didn't know were backwards compatible. So we will
like all the Halo games are disc only.
That's really weird. I didn't even know you couldn't. Are you sure you can install the Halo games?
It says disc only.
I thought they weren't on there because of the Master Chief Collection. By the way, I'll catch up before I dive into the games. There was a bit ago. There was 2790 reals from Felipe Anselmo Gimio. I'm sorry if I almost certainly butchered your name. Saying thank you. Saying LGCX rekindle my love for the PS3 and 360 generation. Final Fantasy 13, Ridge Racer 7, GT6 look amazing. Does that gen would be better at the time if we had TVs like the CX? Well, I don't know, because I mean, certainly the colors look better on an OLED. And I don't have a CX. Unfortunately, my 2017 model is kind of on its last legs, and it started to lose, inconsistently decay the color red. So I might have to upgrade, but yeah, as far as I know, there's no like nearest neighbor style upscaling. So I'm not sure what it looks like on the newest ones. I personally kind of feel like 720p generation games look better like on a 1080p TV, or like, the projectors that I showed in the projector episode, that was really what kind of recaptured a lot of interest in that generation for me. But I mean, when I look at those games today on a 4K screen, like, they definitely don't look as high resolution as they looked to me at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the colors are certainly better. The colors are definitely better than what we had at the time.
I got in the habit of setting my 360 and Wii U and PS3 just to like 720p default, so they just like stay at 720p
Yeah.
all the
But,
time.
you know, I mean, there's also cases like, for example, that Bing Q projector that's in the projectors episode, it actually has more lag on 720p than 1080p. So, you know, there could be an advantage to letting the system do the upscale in some cases. And of course, there are games that do output 1080p, so it's kind of a case by case basis. I mean, when it comes to like PS3, the system always output if the game is. There are cases where a 720p game is output at 1080p, but most of the time it switches over. The 360 doesn't. There was also $5 from Genova Vienna. Thank you, saying
Thank you.
GTA San Andreas is best on Xbox. What do you guys think? I am not a GTA connoisseur. I don't know.
I definitely am not either.
I don't
mean,
know
I like
which
to cause chaos, but that's not
I mean,
it.
I know that like the PS2 versions were like the original versions of those, and I saw in John's video on GTA 3 that like, you know, there are extra details, some higher detail character models in the Xbox version of like GTA 3. But I don't know anything about like San Andreas or Vice City in terms of those. Most of my recent knowledge of the series is from the Digital Foundry videos.
Yeah, you know, I was watching John's video on the trilogy, and I hadn't really been paying attention at all. And man, it just like looks so weird.
It's so like, well, I mean, the whole thing is that they
use like the mobile port.
I mean, I think John described it as like it's almost a remake made by AI or something, right? Like it.
Oh yeah,
It just feels like, oh, higher resolution is better, you know, sharper textures are better, clearer skies are better, and you know, John really does a good job of, and the other guy, what's his name, Oliver, who's been contributing some videos lately. I watched that one today. You know, they highlight, you know, sort of the very intentional art direction choices that they made, you know, to make this wide open world on a, you know, very limited sort of hardware. And, you know, so the character models are not amazing or anything, but everything is sort of serves this cohesive artistic vision for the game, right? And, you know, when you're remaking something and you're just like, oh, make it more visible, make the higher polygons, better textures, higher resolution, you know, everything sort of just, you lose that cohesion that worked on the original hardware. And that's something I've been saying for a while is like, you know, even though like, yeah, I could play N64 games at, you know, higher resolutions, like if it was emulated or something, or even something just basic like, you know, the 480p on the Wii. Like, sure, you could go to 480p or even much higher, but to me, N60, it looks neat. Don't get me wrong. It looks neat seeing those games at higher resolution, but the game looks more cohesive to me at 240p because the HUD elements, the graphics, the level of detail that might pop in as objects get larger in the frame, you know, those things are hid by the original resolution. It's just, yes, it is a little hard to look at in some ways, but it is cohesive. It's this cohesive image.
It's not like a Frankenstein.
All the pixels are the same size, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, upscaling can be, you know, a double-edged sword, I suppose. But, you know, speaking of which, I guess we're going to play some Xbox games that are running at a much higher resolution than they were originally intended for. But in my experience, it generally really works the way they've implemented it. Like,
yes,
Panzer Dragoon Orta looks like it looks like a carefully crafted remaster. It's so good looking.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited to see how GunValkyrie looks.
I was thinking about popping in GunValkyrie first, but I saw right when we started the stream, someone said Time Splitters 2 first. So why don't I do Time Splitters 2 first?
Okay. There was also $10 from Jonathan Hinson. Thank you. Saying, I'm so proud to announce that last Wednesday, my daughter and son-in-law welcomed a baby boy into the world. I'm a grandpa at 44. I will do everything I can to teach him the old ways, the MLiG ways. Well, congratulations. I am like, I can't fathom the idea of like being a grandfather in like less than 2 years from my current age. Because I will be, I'm going to be 43 next month. So that's crazy. But at the same time, I'm like envious of you that, you are like the hard part is done. You just like get to enjoy hanging out for like going forward. You don't have to worry about everything that I have left to worry about. Because, my daughter was born when I was, like 32, 33. So, when my kids have kids, I'll be probably like in my 60s. But congratulations.
So I have not popped this one in, but I did pop Future Perfect in.
Which you already had that you didn't realize.
I know, it's so stupid. So in my panic buying, I somehow, like, instead of, like, standing up and looking at my shelf, I just, like, searched my backloggery for time splitters, and I did not.
And that was something that you didn't have on your backlog?
I didn't see it. And then I ordered it, and then I, like, looked on my shelf, and I'm like, oh, I have the Xbox version of Time Splitters Future Perfect. So that one is your copy. I bought it with the business card anyway. So, because I ended up like buying, like after I got infatuated with Time Splitters 2 when I was making that Perfect Dark Zero episode, like I used to own, back in the day, I used to own the GameCube version, but I really kind of wanted the PS2 version. But I came across like the next week, like the GameCube version. I'm like, well, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. And then I came across the PS2 version. And then when I came across the Xbox version, I'm like, well, I may as well own all three. So it actually turned out to be good to have this.
Well, here's something that you were talking about the other day. Samrad says in the chat, says, question to the host in the chat, does anyone else feel like Time Splitters 2 update on Xbox Series X feels too touchy? Well, I find it's very hard to control.
That's interesting. So Future Perfect, I thought, I have not, to my recollection, I don't remember popping Future Perfect into my original Xbox. Maybe we can do that. Shortly. Because I thought the controls, I played most of Future Perfect and Time Splitters 2 on PS2 a few years ago. And I thought they both controlled really well. And then I immediately was like, whoa, like I am turning really fast in Future Perfect on the Series X, like with a very shallow stick tilt. So I wonder if that's something.
Can you change the options? Can you like lower it down?
You can, but it still doesn't really seem to fix it horizontally. Vertically, though, you're looking up and down like really slow. But horizontally, it still feels very touchy. So I wonder if that's something they can fix, or if that's a common problem with backwards compatible games. Like maybe some people in the chat, pay attention to the chat and see if anyone notices or says anything. Now, let's see.
There's $10 Canadian from Hayabusa Paul. Thank you. Saying bought a copy of GTA 5 on the Xbox 360, thinking it was backwards compatible. It turns out that Rockstar is forcing consumers to buy the next-gen version. No free upgrade. Despicable. I mean, that's like such a weird case, because I feel like GTA 5 on the 360 and then coming out on the Xbox One, that was like super close together. And, like the Xbox One version would be backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X.
I mean, I don't know if I would call it despicable necessarily, because you don't know for sure that it could also be a technical reason, I mean, they very carefully tailor all of the backwards compatible games.
Oh, it was 2 years. It's 2 years apart. That shows you how closely I was paying attention. Wow. But still, I mean,
But like, I mean, it would be nice if they just gave you access to the next gen version if you had that. But
yeah.
I don't know enough about the situation.
They probably
to
don't think about it because,
judge.
like,
by the way, this looks like I mean, like the text and stuff is, pretty blurry, but I mean, it is pretty crisp looking.
How does this version compare to the version of Time Splitters 2 that's in Homefront?
Yeah, I don't know. So I saw you mention that earlier, Aramonato. You said on PS4, but it's also in the Xbox version. I bought the Xbox version. I bought the Xbox version to like right when that happened. I mean, very, very, very cheap game, but I just have not gotten around to unlocking it. It's weird how washed out this cutscene looks. I don't remember if it was like this originally. Like I say, most of my experience with this game is on, well, GameCube and PS2. I'm not sure if I've ever played the Xbox version.
There's $5 from Dubsenhauer, who we saw at Retrode. Thank you. Saying, how long were you guys making videos before you felt like you figured out YouTube? I
mean, we've been making videos like
we have figured anything out.
Yeah, I mean, we've I mean, I see. We've been making videos, all our lives, and when we started YouTube, we like thought we were experienced, and like, the early stuff we made is like awful looking now,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a part of it. Like, you should always be feeling like, oh, I would have. If you look at your old stuff, you should always be thinking, oh, I would do this differently. Like, I look at that now and I like don't like this aspect of it. Always looking to get better. But I mean, like, I don't think we've like figured anything out, honestly. Like, we're just making stuff, and hopefully people like it. I mean, I'm not sure if we ever will completely figure it out.
Yeah, so
we will ever figure it out.
This is interesting. I wonder if this can be fixed. Like, are other games this way?
It's unplayable almost.
It's pretty like if I do like the most barely amount of tilting, I can move very slowly, but then it ramps up to full speed like. It's like it goes full speed like maybe a quarter tilt.
Really? And you cannot turn off like horizontal look. Like turn that down. You can't turn off each turn down.
Well, in
axis.
Let's see. In Time Splitters, you can't do each axis. In Time Splitters. 2 or Future Perfect, but like it didn't really help. Like, I don't think it's so much a sensitivity issue, and it's just that like the full range of the stick itself doesn't seem to be properly mapped to the current gen controller.
Speaking of current gen controllers, I think that people on our Discord were talking about the Wingman XB from Brook that I bought after they talked about it, and you can if you have a controller port to USB cable for the original Xbox, you can plug that into it, and you can use an Xbox One wireless controller with the system.
Now, I hope they can fix this. Like, it's surprising you see the people that Xbox replies to. Like, I'm almost tempted to just like tweet out Xbox, like maybe even make a little video clip showing like the difference between like original hardware.
There's $10 from EB Chill 2. Thank you. Saying, I heard a rumor that John Lemon is very happy with Sonic Generations. I'm happy to play Otogi. I'm happy to play Otogi for less than $30. Have a great week. Hey, thank you. I'm sure he's very happy. I haven't really talked to him too much about it though. Like
Yeah,
I know that you tried it out, but you know he's been working on that Splatterhouse video, so I'm not sure, or like the DF Retro Splatterhouse video. So I think that I'm not sure how much time he's spent with the backwards compatibility stuff yet.
yeah. This is pretty unplayable.
Yeah.
It's pretty unplayable. I mean, it's such a shame because it looks incredible. But it is.
I'm sure they'll fix it.
I hope they can. Yeah. I am definitely going to make an effort as soon as I'm done with the next video. Like I'm definitely going to like see if I can, because I mean this isn't playable. Like you just like subtle movement is like of the gun is just like impossible. Like look how far to the left and right it jerks, and that's with like that's with a control stick tilt that would be making Mario just tiptoe. like it's pretty crazy. This is definitely, I would say, worse than what I played of Future Perfect. Ah, man, like this should be so good. Now I'm really curious, like to check out, like in some other games, just like turning, like, you know, in like a third person game, just like turning the camera, like like, to be honest, I have not spent a lot of time with original Xbox backwards compatible games, so not as much as 360. But now I'm just like, I'm all like, oh man, like how? So you know what? Let's like just out of curiosity, let's make sure this version is not like radically different from like the PS2 version in terms of its controls. Let's put it on the original Xbox. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
We have the technology.
There was another 2790 reals from Felipe Anselmo Gemio. Thank you. Saying, I bought the HD Retrovision set. I'm looking forward to receiving it. Will we have the Dreamcast cable this year? Not this year, it doesn't look like. I mean, unless they somehow like have them already in hand. Because it's getting down to the wire for the year. But I bet that it'll be out next year. I saw somebody earlier mention the Kinto Zero mentioned that the original GTA San Andreas Xbox 360 was just a digital port of the Xbox version with custom soundtrack support, but then it got pulled and the re-release is a crappy mobile port. So I have GTA San Andreas for the 360 on disc. I found it at a thrift store or pawn shop, and it was like sealed. So that's like that port of the Xbox version?
I am not positive. Oh, there it is.
I thought your Xbox. Oh, that's right. You were playing.
This is Bob sent this one to me.
Right.
So this is actually a wireless controller. Maybe I should get a.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should get a real controller just so we know for sure what we're working with. Let me get that.
The Xbox 360 disc version is the mobile port. Okay. Well, I have the. I think I have the regular Xbox version too. So Ridge Racer 6, though, I mean, is Ridge Racer 6, now that it's backwards compatible, like that new version, the backwards compatible version, is that better than 7 is on the PS3? That's the big question, because I was under the impression that Ridge Racer 7, which has like all the stuff from 6 in it is just like better anyways.
This is strange. Why? Why is this not appearing? Oh no, don't tell me. Don't tell me that.
Wait, Ridge Racer 7 has $41 worth of soundtrack DLC, or 6?
Huh, that's odd.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah, 7 was the one, you know, it's like a launch game. It was 1080p 60.
Huh. This is strange.
Is that not working?
Well, no, I can see it on my TV, but for some reason the AverMedia may not like this make megahertz.
Uh-oh. Oh.
But I don't want to risk changing it back and forth a bunch because that card like can get into a state where like it just stops doing anything and like the only cure is to reboot it. So sorry that it's off screen, but I'm just so we can do this test and so we can really know what the difference is. I'll test this real quick and then I'll switch back to where you can see what I'm doing.
You know, Alex Moen says, Just That Radio feature is still the big standout missing backwards compatible title for me. And I totally agree. I was surprised that wasn't on there because I feel like that double pack with Sega GT is like, I mean, at least for a while there, it was one of the most common games to find.
Well, I mean, it's probably licensing issues with music, right? But you know, a lot of the new games that
right, because it doesn't have Dragula in it. It's one of those games. Or no. That's Just That Radio or Jet Grind Radio.
But a lot of the new games for backwards compatibility were published by Sega, like Otogi 1 and 2. I didn't even know those.
That's why. I mean, I wish they had done Just That Radio feature and Crazy Taxi 3, and like that would have been great. Like, okay. I couldn't think of anything else off the top of my head that I would have wanted, except for like I don't know, like.
All right, let's see.
I have to look at my list.
So you go.
What game doesn't have Dragula in it? There's a period of time from like 1998 to 2000 where every single game that was released for every system had Dragula on the soundtrack.
So
just think about the kind of money that Rob Zombie made. He funded every single movie that he made based on the fact that Dragula was in every single game.
So, let's see.
That was like a thing that I wanted to do, like a video was just like games with Dragula on the soundtrack.
Wait, that was a thing you actually wanted to do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I may have talked to.
I don't even know. So that's Rob Zombie's thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who Rob Zombie is, but Dragula, I couldn't tell you nothing about that.
Oh, it's in so many games.
So I mean, I don't know if it's just because there is definitely a increased. Significantly better turning and sensitivity in this. I think it feels a lot better with a PS2 controller, but that might also just be because I don't really like any original Xbox controller, to be honest. Like not even the S. Like I am not very used to holding it, so I much prefer. I would prefer to play it with a modern controller, but yeah, there's definitely you're going full tilt, maybe like it may be 4/5 of a tilt.
Yeah.
Is when you go full tilt. You're like, seriously, it's maybe like a quarter of the tilt. And it's like, boom.
I'm starting to feel like we should do an entire stream where it's just like this screen of you saying insert the game disc, and it's just us in the two windows, and you're like just describing the game the entire stream. You're just playing it like you're describing like the nuanced controls for 3 hours.
Oh man. I mean, it's like, see, I'm like worried now. Like, is this just how Xbox games are on backwards compatibility? And I didn't notice, because that's like, it's not good.
No, I think that
like I think
there seems to be a lot of blowback about this.
Have you seen people talking about it outside of the chat?
I mean, I feel like I've seen it mentioned before.
Yeah, it is not right.
Oh yeah, of all of Naughty Dog's contributions to the game, their most infamous will be their pairing of Rob Zombie music to games. Yeah, you know, Way of the Warrior with Thunder Kiss is a Thunder Kiss 65. That was the first time I heard that song.
All right, I've in a lot of ways, this is going to be a games I've never booted stream.
Yeah.
Putting in Otogi. This is a game that I suspect will have camera control.
That's a cool looking background you had there. I'd never seen that before.
Oh, it turned on auto HDR. I don't know if we really wanted that, but I guess we'll see. I meant to, before I started the stream, I meant to turn off HDR in the menu just so that it would be more seamless. So this has nearest neighbor scaling for this aspect. I don't know if it's some games. See, it does vary from game to game. Like for example, like the Final Fantasy 13 games, they have like a nearest neighbor scale for the 2D elements. But let me get up a little closer and see if it looks like it's evenly scaled or not.
I got both of these a long time ago and haven't really put a lot of time into them. I probably got them around the time. I think I got them when I did that Sega on the Xbox episode, because I was gonna do a follow up to it and do these, and it just never happened. So I should just if I had made the episode now, it would have just had everything on it.
So
but
this
at the
is
time it's it's gonna be too long. It's 20 minutes.
So this is interesting. I mean, I can't say 100% for sure, but just casually eyeballing it, it looks pretty good nearest neighbor scaling without, it looks relatively even as far as I can tell. But the whole screen is pixely looking, but the OK and the back are bilinear filtered. So that's interesting that those elements are treated differently. The A and the B themselves are pixelated looking. But I mean, it has a very crisp appearance.
Yeah. I'm surprised that GunValkyrie is expensive. I felt like that was a game that was just so cheap all the time.
I mean, I don't know about so cheap. I mean, I feel like for Xbox games, I feel they've been relatively expensive for a while. $30 or so.
Have been expensive. I was talking about GunValkyrie though.
Oh, GunValkyrie
I think GunValkyrie, because that was just for the longest time. I think the controls made it kind of a deeply unpopular game with people who didn't put a lot of time into it. because it's a weird playing game.
Okay, so my main thing I'm curious about. Okay, so if you let go of the stick and wait a second, like the camera turns behind you, but I just want to get a feel for how much I have to tilt the stick before. See, this feels.
Oh,
This
Paul
feels
Sutton
pretty
says, I'll
good.
say it again, thanks to Elite Controller's abilities of remapping and paddles, GunValkyrie is now a playable game. So you can map the controller, like, clicks, like the analog stick clicks to, like, the paddles. That would be amazing. You might have just sold me on, like, $170 Xbox controller. because of that. I didn't even think about that.
So the big problem is it uses stick clicks pretty heavily.
Oh, like super heavily. I mean, that's your like dashing, you're boosting, and you like dodge around in the air with it.
I mean, I can see that working,
difficult.
but being a bit uncomfortable over time.
And you know, at the time, like it's probably feels a little bit more natural now, but at the time, it felt like, I don't know. It felt like too much. It was just very difficult to really wrap your head around. At least that was for me.
See,
So okay, so now the Elite controller is $140. But thinking about like putting that on the like on the paddles or something like that, that's got to be a game changer. You know what I mean?
yeah, oh yeah, I could easily see that. I mean, I have generally not been that interested in the Elite controller, but so yeah, the camera in this seems like it's very easy to move it like a very small slide amount. Like it doesn't have a super, like its maximum tilt is still not super fast. But yeah, it seems like this game, the stick is mapped much more.
Your corporeal body shall fade into dust.
See, 4 paddles is just overwhelming. I can only handle just 2, but you can remove the ones you don't need, right? Like,
See,
aren't they all like magnetic?
See, I've always been really unsure about the whole paddle thing on the back of those controllers, because I feel like in intense moments I would be very likely to just like squeeze them. You know, I mean, I even do that sometimes with stick clicks. Like if like crouch is on the stick, like I've had situations where
You know, you say that though, but I guarantee you that you don't have like as intense of moments as like a lot of people that are playing these things with like competitive Call of Duty or something like that with it.
I guess, but I mean, I've been very unsure what I would think of that controller. I mean, can you not also remap the regular controller in the Xbox menu? Like, does GunValkyrie use like black and white buttons, for example?
I'm not sure if you can remap anything else. I would be curious. Like, I don't know if it uses the black and white.
So this has, you know, a inverted camera that doesn't seem to be changeable, which was typical of the generation.
Typical of the time, yeah.
But aside from that, it feels pretty darn good. I mean, you know, I can still get used to. Actually, I mean, horizontal is not that big of a deal to me. Like in particular, like I could go back to like a GameCube controller or, you know, N64 controller, even a PS2 controller, and like mentally, like I'm like, oh, okay, you know. It always made so much sense to me because I always thought of it like a tripod stick, right? You push right to pan left and vice versa.
You can remap any Xbox controller with Xbox Accessories app. Is that a app for the system, or is it like a phone app or something?
But like, for example, if GunValkyrie doesn't use the black and white buttons, which I think are mapped to the bumpers, like you could put the sticks there. I mean, but doesn't it? Maybe it does. Unfortunately, my copy of GunValkyrie did not come with a manual.
Go to the mansion deep in the
Well, I have one, but I think I bought GunValkyrie like 3 separate times in my life. Like I bought it when it was new.
Well, why don't you get the manual and see if it uses every button on the controller or not?
Feel the magic flow through you. Magic is spiritual energy. It resides in
The auto HDR in this actually looks really good. Like that sort of that area that's sort of lit over there.
I have imparted to you was done.
Like I wasn't even thinking about it until just now because it's like it's pretty seamlessly integrated. Your sword is rather bright. I don't know if that. I mean, as someone who has not played this before, that seems fine. But like the lights coming from this house over here, or from the torches around there, it's actually looks pretty cool. The sun, yeah, that feels really cool. Like I know it's not going to look nearly as good on the stream. Is the stream running pretty smoothly, by the way? Because my preview looks choppy on my computer, but it's happened before where it looked choppy there and it was fine on the stream.
So the black and white buttons display the map and the elapsed time, but it says that the A button doesn't do anything.
Really? So it sounds like if you knew the controls, it might be possible to remap the game into something more workable. Oh my God.
Maybe. But I seriously, I bought this game like 3 separate times in my life, and that's like the very definition of something that you like it, you want to like it, and then you can't wrap your head around it, so you get rid of it, and then you're like, well, maybe I'll be better at it now, or I'll get it now. And then it didn't happen again, and then it finally happened.
I've done that
when I had to do the video on it, and so I was like, oh, I made it past like, made it through like half the game. Then finally.
Without magic, you would fade from the living world.
This seems like something I would really like, though.
But as you purify
I'm
each demon, your
kinda
magic will be replenished.
kind of just rushing through and not paying attention to how you really play or anything, but it seems really good. Oh.
And you got both of them, right? I think the second one's a lot more expensive, right?
They were not vastly different. I mean, in fact, I bought them from a seller who was selling both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, L2.
Well,
L2
I'm gonna look into I'm gonna look into that Elite controller.
My biggest fear, like I want to, I want to do like a design center controller, but like my biggest fear is like as soon as I buy another new Xbox controller, they're going to like integrate adaptive triggers.
Yeah.
I feel like within a couple of years, Xbox is going to adopt that. So this is interesting. There's like definitely like 2 paths that you can take to get into here. That was a pretty cool effect, breaking open that screen. This definitely seems like something I would like a lot. Like it feels more measured than in its combat, a little more somewhat slower and more deliberate, perhaps, than like a Devil May Cry or something. Which, you know, I like Devil May Cry, but I'm not like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of like a little more, like, I mean, it still feels relatively fast-paced, but it doesn't feel, like, overwhelmingly so. Like, I like this. I'm looking forward to playing this. This actually looks really nice on here.
I'm actually kind of surprised that it does not have a 16:9 mode.
I mean, even on Xbox, I don't think it was that common, right? Something that
It's fairly common.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to say games that do have widescreen modes like default to it on current gen systems. I think. So, I'm sure the X button must do something in this game. I saw some use for it in the menu, but like it's weird that it's like your main combat attacks, at least the ones that I have right now, seem to be B and Y.
Yeah. Yeah, neither of us have played through an entire GTA game. What can I say? I just think I always thought it was so much fun just to try to get 5 stars and survive for as long as you can.
Well, and see, and that's
I played through a portion of San Andreas.
I mean that's actually like the big reason that I just never got into it is because everyone who I watched play GTA. I mean, I played a little GTA 3, maybe even a little GTA 1 or 2 at a friend's house back in the day. Like I've never been much of a sandbox sort of gamer. And like it was just like everyone's like, oh, look at all the crazy stuff you can do when you're just driving around town doing stupid stuff, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, well, at the time it was a big deal. I mean that's I barely played Vice City. You know, like I like the soundtrack more than anything.
I liked Red Dead Redemption a lot, and that kind of made me wonder, like, oh, like would I like the main GTA games?
Well,
but
you should try 5 because I think that it's been streamlined and is just a lot better than earlier ones. Mm-hmm. It's more fun to play.
I've been curious, but you know what? I feel like
I
feel like Sleeping Dogs like kind of got that curiosity for playing more GTA out of my system, because it was just like, oh, like that felt like my GTA, you know, like it felt like a GTA for me. Like Sleeping Dogs, I really like that, which has FPS boost on Series X. It does not have a resolution boost though; it's still 720p, but still, it's pretty nice, pretty nice. So yeah, Otogi seems cool. And the analog stick felt good for the camera control, so I don't know what the problem with time splitters is. They need to fix that big time.
There's $9.99 from our good friend Scott Davis. Thank you. Saying, hey dudes, I'm so stoked that Advent Rising, Beautiful Katamari, and 50 Cent made the final batch. I'm gutted no Evil Dead nor Godzilla games made it. I commend the licensing team. I commend the licensing accomplishments by Team Xbox. Yeah, like it was a pretty surprising list. I wasn't expecting any more backwards compatibility, but it was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, but the bummer is that they did say that, like, you know, they've reached their technical and licensing and legal limits of what they can do. So.
Which I don't have they.
That's what they said. Well, I mean, okay, have they? technically no, but like they're I think they're up against such a wall though that it's not worth further investment. Is what it comes down to. You know, so which, you know, goes with the whole argument of, well, is it really preservation? You know, this is why a corporation can't do preservation. And it makes sense. So, you know, I'm going to go into the menu just so, I mean, I oftentimes auto HDR is great. Oftentimes it is not, but I'm going to I'll just turn auto HDR off.
Turn that crap.
No, I like, a lot of people really don't like it. And in some games it does look bad, but in some games it looks really good. Final Fantasy 13 looks amazing with it.
In the parts that you played.
In the parts that I played, yes.
I mean, like,
13.2 and Lightning Returns I did not think looked...
originally.
Huh?
I prefer to not use it on games that didn't have it originally.
Yeah, but I'm still curious. I mean, I guess I lean that way as well, but I still want to see what it looks like. And if it's like, oh, it's actually works really well here, then, you know, maybe I would use it. So this has like seems to be widescreen or quasi widescreen or something.
Yeah. I love the menu music in this game. I really, really like the menu music.
It seems kind of...
People are saying like this, like saying, seeing Joe Redifer. That's not the real Joe Redifer in here. That is somebody pretending to be Joe Redifer.
Joe Redifer's game sack.
Right.
I mean, that's his usual.
Oh, we got Classic Gaming Quarterly here, who released his PlayStation in 1995 video today. And it's great. It's great. I've watched like half of it so far. And he says that he can't stay because he has a date with his wife and Ted Lasso. So my wife and I watched both seasons of Ted Lasso as well. And it's great.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's a show on Apple TV. It's real good. It's you know what I like about it is it's just so nice.
So this like, is all the voice in the game like this? It's very weird sounding.
Is it like reverby? I don't remember.
It just sounds very low and just not punchy. So I already looked in the options. There's not a lot of options. Definitely no control options.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but for some reason, like, the menu aesthetic makes me think of BioShock for some reason.
Oh yeah, I mean it is kind of like a steampunk like world.
Yeah, I mean, just based on the cover, I was not expecting steampunk. So I know there's 2 playable characters. Does the power up like only go to one character, or I don't have any money anyway though.
What is it? What a weird logo, the GunValkyrie logo back there.
Oh, or
it's a
are these characters
like a killer whale with wings?
Are they cell shaded?
No.
Or there's a look to it though.
Yeah.
Huh. Like from a distance, like they almost look cell shaded. Like there's almost like, I don't know, like like the art style is different, but it almost made me think of like Valkyria Chronicles in a way. Like not with like the canvas or like the animated sketchy look to it. Okay, yeah, I mean this though looks like what I've seen of the game before, but I don't know, that menu just looked different. Huh. Okay. This is interesting. I really, you know, I love when the animations in a game like have a character like really lean into their turns.
Yeah.
Like I love that. This is interesting. Huh. Okay. Okay.
So you have to like click in the left stick and then go left and right while you're in the air, and you'll be able to. And you can click, hold it in, and go press up, down, left, and right on it, and you'll like dodge in that direction.
It doesn't seem like you move very far when you do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to hold the left trigger though while you're doing it. Or whatever the flying button. I think it's the left trigger.
Yeah,
The right
you
is
can-
you.
I assume you upgrade your flying over time.
Yeah, but the whole point is that you get good enough that you just like stay in the air all the time.
Oh, you like recover it like when you attack enemies or something?
Let's begin with the basics.
So it's interesting because the right stick only moves like just a little bit, like, but like your
Oh,
big
yeah, it's-
turning is turning the left stick.
Use the left thumbstick to move forward, backward, left, and right.
But like really like to turn, like you really have to be turning it directly left and right. But then if you tilt it forward even the slightest bit, she's like moving forward and turning. It's very unusual, but interesting.
I think she's gonna like the tutorial's gonna explain it to you here a bit
Yeah.
more.
The vertical movement. Now, see, here's a really good. Actually, this is a really good example. At least the vertical is of how the stick is replicated, because you because it like recenters itself automatically when you let go. So you can see the full range of that stick movement vertically. And even though you can't turn strongly horizontally, you still have like the full range of the stick is taken into account. Whereas in Time Splitters, like I said, like a fifth or a fourth, maybe a third at best, of the stick was actually used.
Pull the left trigger to jump. While jumping, pull the left trigger again to perform a rocket boost. Pull the right trigger to use your selected weapon.
The ginormous HUD.
So that auto, I mean, the lock-on seems to work pretty well. Like, it's just automatic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see what you think of this, because it seems like something you
In the left thumb
would like,
and move it.
Yeah.
if, like once you kind of get into it, because you know it's different for the time, and it's still pretty different.
Maneuvers to the sides or backwards. Press the
I mean,
left
like
thumbstick,
that it was
then move it in the appropriate direction.
a huge flop. Like, is the reason why we haven't seen anything else about it. That's why I'm so surprised that it's
Well, I think it's like a cult classic, though, right?
The right thumbstick.
And two, it looked like a
if it was
lot
a
of
cult
Sega
classic,
stuff.
then it's only been considered a cult classic in like the last couple of years.
It will aid you in exploring your surrounding environment.
But yeah, what did somebody say earlier? Said that this was supposed to originally have been a controller plus light gun game.
and for
It's been really
Dreamcast
cool,
as
like
well.
playing with the on the Dreamcast.
You want to move. Then,
Oh, there's $4.99 from Stephanie Brown.
this allows
Thank you.
to dash.
Saying, hi guys, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Man, I could probably just
Mashed
eat.
potatoes and gravy
I
is
mean,
my favorite.
I could probably eat
Oh, deviled eggs? Yeah, you know, my sister-in-law makes really good deviled eggs.
I don't really associate those with Thanksgiving necessarily, though. But
Oh, yeah?
I mean that's kind of a anytime thing with my parents. But
Green bean
I mean, man,
casserole.
I could just eat probably just a plate full of turkey and gravy and be happy.
Yeah.
Since you can also attack from
But you know, one I mean, it's such a stupid thing, but it's been a while actually. For the past several years, my family has always gotten these rolls that like comes in like a tin from the store, and you just bake them. It's called Sister Schubert. And it's just like this tin, and it just looks like it's just all these rolls like lumped together in this tin. And you bake them, and then they just like break apart, and they're just like the most delightfully fluffy and soft bread you can imagine. It is so good.
Put some butter on it and slowly melt.
Oh gosh, it's so good.
Blood pudding. Oh, I think you say banana pudding. Is banana pudding is it's pretty good.
Banana
There's a
pudding
banana
is
pudding,
a
yeah.
southern thing, but again, not necessarily Thanksgiving. Banana pudding is an anytime southern dish. So
Yeah, I mean, it's it's so weird. I don't know. Like, you ever notice this, that when you're just like buying a plate of food, like you always feel like you need more. But when it's like on Thanksgiving, or like if you go to a buffet, like I run into this problem where I don't know what it is, but if I'm at a buffet, I get full so quickly, and I've like eaten like less than I would normally have eaten. Every time.
I mean, I can't think of the last time I've been to a buffet.
There's $5 from EB Chill too.
Thank
you. Saying if Microsoft owns Bethesda, can't they do Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth? I don't know. I'm
But again,
not-
it could be technical issues, though. You know, that's not. I mean,
Yeah.
each game, the emulator is custom tailored for each game. I'm pretty sure. So I'm starting to get this a little bit now. Like you cannot do the dash while
on the ground.
while you're holding L2 or left trigger.
So you see how you get like that energy. Like I think you can kind of see it charge up or something.
Yeah, like
I don't remember how it works.
There definitely seems like a rhythm that you could get into because it recharges while you're in the air somehow. But like it would like because you can dash and ultimately it recovers, and then you could get a little higher. And then you could like if you keep dashing with like the right rhythm, you could get it. I think to where you're like. Where you wouldn't fall very much.
Right. Yeah, because there's bigger levels than this, but you can get up there, and
It's interesting.
the whole idea is just to be like as high up as you can all the time, and like never touch the ground.
I mean, it's reasonably good looking, but the textures are like really blurry. I wonder if it's just because like the levels are so big.
Mm-hmm. So apparently that's like the case with buffets, is because like all the cellulose buffets pack into the food. So they're intentionally trying to make people get full really quick. That's how they get you.
I guess these enemies are meant to be non-aggressive since this is basically the tutorial. I'm just like murdering these.
Shadow Map says,
these
so the
insect
textures look like
spiders.
raw meat. Dad1153 donated $5. Thank you,
Oh,
saying,
thank you.
can't wait for Try to Fall as hard for GunValkyrie as Coury did for Alligator Hunt last week. Got 9 used 360 backwards compatible games since Tuesday, less than $50.
Oh man. Well, that's about as many games as I bought between original Xbox and 360, but I spent more money than that. Sadly.
Those energy balls will recharge your Valkyrie fuel cells. You will be able to utilize your Haley abilities once you have acquired.
So I have to say that the game, surprisingly, that I was the most excited about to get backwards compatible, and I haven't tried it yet, is all 3 Max Paynes, but especially the third one. I'm really excited to see how it benefits from the added power, because that's kind of it's a pretty hefty game.
That's the one game I ordered that has not come in yet.
It's good. It's such a weird thing because I love the first 2, and when I first saw screenshots of like what they did to the Max Payne character in the third one, I mean, me as well as like a lot of people were just like, I don't like, this isn't Max Payne, and a lot of the game it does not feel like Max Payne for sure, but it was good in its own way.
Is it still a Remedy game?
No, Rockstar did it.
Oh, okay. Like what Rockstar? Like
I don't remember. But I'm really excited to see how it plays because it's a really like a fun game to play. And I'm sure anybody who's in the chat that has played through the entire game, you know, there's this scene. It's one of those scenes that, you know, I always talk about that gets me, where it has like a licensed song as you go into this airport, like at the very end of the game, and the music kicks in, and it is like, it's like a chills inducing moment, because it's like such a good build up to it, and it's like this big shootout in an airport. It's amazing. Oh right, yeah, you can't skip the cutscenes in it, and the cutscenes are weird the way that they're like they do this weird stuff with text. Oh, we got a 723 from Chris Shawman.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, Mark, what is a good backyard projector that won't break the bank and is good for streaming services, movies, and games?
Oh man, I mean, what you saw in that episode is really my only real experience. So I don't really know. I mean, obviously BenQ and Epson both have like a pretty wide range that is both more expensive than and cheaper than what I looked at. I mean, maybe you want to look at more of like a 1080p one or something. In general, projectors, as far as I understand, are behind TVs in terms of features offered for the price. So like 4K is like, still kind of complicated to do, for affordable prices on projectors. To do it really well. And also to get gaming lag low. The lag situation on that Epson I looked at was real bad. But I understand a lot of Epsons can be better. I think Epson is kind of going to be leading, and if you're looking at a 3 LCD projector, and BenQ is definitely pretty good for DLPs, but that's just my own relatively limited experience. I would definitely look at lag readings. Like I'm sure you can find some, in reviews online, I'm sure you can find some lag info of various things.
We got Matt McCheskey in the chat too.
Oh, the Matt McCheskey.
Yeah, it's like all kinds of friends.
For everyone who doesn't know, Matt McCheskey is the composer of the MLiG theme song.
I talked to Matt's brother Justin for the first time in a really long time. I think it was on Wednesday, and like I hadn't talked to him in a long time, and like we talked on the phone for like over 3 hours.
Oh wow!
The reason I wanted to talk to him is because he has solar panels. Like he runs his home completely off of solar, and after some back and forth, my wife and I decided to get solar panels installed in our house. Playing the long game with it. So apparently, it's gonna be able to cover like 72% of our electricity a month.
So you wonder if there's a quick turn in this? Like that seems to be
not.
like the biggest, like dealing with enemies that are behind you and chasing you seems to be kind of hard to deal with. I mean, this definitely is something I am interested in putting some good time into for sure. But
That's good.
That's probably enough of this one for now.
You didn't even make it past the tutorial.
Well, I couldn't figure out where to go. Like once I got to that lake, it seemed like that was where I should go, but there was like a hard wall there. I couldn't figure out where to go.
Yep. Brad Diallo says if you stay in your house for like 8 years, the panels should pay for themselves, and it's true. You know, like it's. I have a feeling that this is going to be. We're not going to leave this house until like I don't know, maybe never. So the thing is, we're not getting a battery, so it's still connected to the grid, and the grid covers it. Like if you run out, you know, like if you you'll use the energy that you generate. And I guess during the summer, like it goes back to the energy company, and they credit you for it. And then in the colder months, you know, you can use that credit to pay for the additional electricity that you use.
So I have booted this up on my regular Xbox before. It seemed...
Yeah, this is a great game. I played this game so many times. Boom, boom.
Did this only get ported to Xbox, or was there a PS2 version of this?
Did it get ported to what?
Did this get ported to anything other? Was this on PS2?
Yeah, there's a PS2 version, and there's a really interesting Game Boy Advance version. It's like an isometric viewpoint that's actually pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I actually played this tutorial level when I must have... Because I was in a subway.
Sam Lake's face. Yeah, Sam Lake is the head of Remedy, and
when
they use his face as the texture for Max Payne.
The way he runs, like, really has an Alan Wake vibe to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's what is cool is the guy who is like the voice of Max Payne is in control. He's like the previous guy that runs the oldest house. I can't think of what it's the previous director. And what's really funny about him is like his name is like James McCaffrey. And when I first moved to New York, I love telling this story because it's a huge regret that I had no idea. And like when I first moved to New York, I like worked as a production assistant doing reshoots for this movie. And like I was like working on this set like for like 2 days, and this guy was like helping out and talking to a whole bunch. He was like one of the main people like in the movie. It was him. It was James McCaffrey, and I had no idea at the time. And this was like only at the time, you know, it was before Max Payne 2 was out. Actually, it might have been on the PC at that time. And it's like I am like so annoyed that I didn't know, because I love this game.
What am I supposed to shoot?
You should be able to shoot with the trigger, right?
I know, but what am I supposed to be shooting?
I couldn't reach out and interview him now. But this is like, I don't even know how long it's been. Like 18 years ago. Which is kind of insane to think about. But he was in control, and I was like, oh, it's really cool to see him coming back to like be in a Remedy game. Because if there's one thing that when it comes down to it, like I've been thinking about my end of the year lists and stuff of like what we're gonna do for the games we played in 2021.
Why can't I jump over this wall?
I don't think that's right. Is that right? Can you jump on the AC unit on the side there?
Oh, that's kind of janky that they would want you to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely has like a very PC sort of navigation style, to it,
Right.
which, I mean, it is, I think, primarily a PC game. It's
But I was
definitely a
thinking, like, I think
unique
that-
control setup, but it seems like something that would be pretty good.
Well, you can make it. I will always put the shoot dodge on the left trigger, which is the bullet time.
Well, that's what it is by default, but yeah, it looked like there was
Okay.
some customization available. I mean,
My favorite part about these games is that he doesn't recover health. Like, he gets shot up and everything, and the only thing he does, like the thing that like brings his like health back to normal, like heals him, is just like taking more painkillers. And he's just like eating like vials of painkillers throughout the entire game.
I need to press the enemy dispenser. I mean, this is definitely pretty crisp looking. I need to press the enemy dispenser.
And the narrative is really cool in this too. It goes in places like that I guess I wasn't expecting, but it's one of those games where it starts with the end. And I haven't seen the movie. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but I've not seen the movie. Like, what is the deal with Mark Wahlberg like being in video game adaptations?
I know, and I can see him as Max Payne, but I cannot see him as.
I don't know. I don't think I
Sully.
could see him as Max Payne.
Well,
but-
I mean, I say this as someone who is not really. This is the most I've played Max Payne.
and it should have been a good movie. It could have been a good movie.
Enemy dispenser. Look how crisp that text is on that enemy dispenser. Like, that is insanely high res. Like, there is no reason for that to be so high res.
This game was 360, backwards compatible on the 360 too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I hit the enemy dispenser, but I didn't see an enemy. This is a
Yeah,
weird
so, like, one of the
tutorial.
things I like about this is that whenever somebody sees you, like when a bad guy sees you, he's like, "It's Payne." And sometimes they're like, "Hey, ya."
Do I have to-
That's like one of those things that is
how
just
do I
I'll never
interact with
forget. If Christopher Walken did play Max Payne, it would have been a lot better of a choice.
I
But yeah, the second one is is really good too. Although I only played through that one time. But
I do not understand what's going on.
I'm really curious to see how well the third game runs, because that is a game that was kind of like the end of that generation almost. So like the
And it
characters
never
are just
got
like they're really beefy in that game, and you can see the like the bullet wounds and stuff in them, like where they get hit, where he gets hit. It's cool.
So it came out near the end of the generation, but it never got a PS4 generation port.
Surprisingly, no. I don't know if it was very popular. Like, I don't know how well it did.
I wonder how it performed. Like, you probably didn't even think of it back.
I have the PS3 version, because on the 360 it's a 2-disc game.
Oh wow. Like, everything just looks really crisp. Like,
Yeah, the nightmare sequences in this.
Like, the textures are so high res. Like it's
There he is. Is his face that high res too?
his face looks insanely high res. Like it's like, why?
Well, why not?
I know, but it's just
I'm
like,
glad that Sam Lake's face, his constipated face, is that high.
But it's just like
high resolution.
It's like, for this generation, like, it was not necessary to make it that high res.
But that is the defining aspect of Max Payne. Maybe the defining aspect of this game is people that don't remember anything about this game remember Max Payne's face in this game.
But you can't even turn around to look at his face while you're actually controlling
Yeah, but he's
him.
like that in every cutscene.
Oh, when I hit the button, it like...
Yeah, it like pauses it. I think it's like, or it stops it. There you go.
What the hell?
Ah,
Something ugly had been tattooed on the wall. A map of things to come. It was a poison-
When did this come out? So this was like...
I mean, the second game, I got the second game. I got a new copy of the second game. It wasn't very expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, you know, like this has a slow motion, and it had to have been in development like before The Matrix came out. Yeah, so 2001. Yeah, because I remember seeing it at E3 in 2001.
Oh, look at this CRT. It has no connections. Look at the back of this CRT. It's
Who's responsible for this? Updated textures. Someone should have updated that texture. So yeah, Matrix came out in '99. If they, oh, so they stole it from. I don't know. Like, I feel like they had to have been like working on it at that. Already working.
I mean,
on it at that
yeah,
point.
but I mean, how integral is the bullet time really to? I mean, like I could see it as being like, oh, they started designing it, and
Tingle Jingle is saying, I'm like critiquing low poly CRTs. I love when you always kill the last guy in the scene, and it does like this
yeah.
bullet time spin around them, and they're like, oh.
Well, like, I could definitely see like them adding that in like the last year of development. They're like, oh, like this is the secret sauce we've been needing.
Yeah, well, maybe because I don't know. It seems like it's so much of the game is built around it. It's got some late 80s action Hong Kong influences as well as just The Matrix, like Hard Boiled. Yeah. Yeah.
Killer junkies have been high on the previously unknown designer drug Valkyrie V.
Man, I haven't seen Hard Boiled in a long time. Like the last like third of that movie is like a long shootout action scene.
Brianna stirred nervously under my coat, but the train doors had already shut behind me.
There's that face.
Next stop, Roscoe Street
Yep.
Station
Like,
and Alex.
like his character model is like how I imagine like an updated version of like the GoldenEye assets or something like that. You know, or like the HD versions of GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Paul Sutton says, yeah, it's funny
feels
that
like
this
that.
ripped off John Woo, and then John Woo's Stranglehold ripped this off. That is the game that I always meant to get, and I never did. And I remember wanting it and saying like, oh, this like is a lot like Max Payne, and it has Hard Boiled like on it,
Roscoe Street.
like
Look at
on the
this.
PS3 version, it has the
Look at
movie
this
on
like
it.
leopard print like shirt under.
Oh yeah, he has like the leopard print like button up underneath it. Yeah, it's like kind of like a vest type thing.
It's kind of ridiculous looking.
Oh, is Stranglehold backwards compatible? Yeah, but I would wonder if the PS3 version better because it has Hard Boiled on it.
Those guys look like they weren't doing anything at all. Like the targeting just seems really easy.
Yeah.
Although I guess it's kind of freer when you're in bullet time. I'm not very good at doing bullet time, apparently.
Oh, Stranglehold is on Good Old Games for DRM free for something like $5. Huh? That's definitely tempting.
The subway's giving me flashbacks to
Yeah,
Silent Hill 3.
The Killer was I always liked The Killer more than I probably liked Hard Boiled even. Because I remember when the first time I saw both of those, I got a DVD 2-pack that had both of those in it.
Security panel let out a
When I lived in Buffalo, I had this like really really awesome
Kong
Like,
whiskey makes you
poster
go
for The
ape.
Killer.
look at how much that ape is smiling. Look at that smile. He's just so happy about Kong whiskey. So how do you? Okay, so you can customize things pretty heavily.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Completely.
So that's cool. So like, there's definitely a few buttons.
Yeah. The
I
bullet
would-
time only like on black and white. Like there's like so many things you can do with it. Yeah. There's $5 from Brent McLean.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying I ordered a RetroTink 5X 2 weeks ago, and it seems like component cables are the best bet. What brand of cables do you suggest for Wii and PS2? Thanks. Either official or HD Retrovision, and they make cables for both systems.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically. I mean,
pay for good quality for sure.
right. I mean, the HD Retrovision ones, like, I believe maybe like technically a little better under a scope, but like the real world difference you're not likely to see between that and official. But when it comes to third party, like the the $6 cables that you find on like Amazon or whatever, they especially for PS2, those have problems. I've actually, I mean, in pretty casual looking, I have I've not noticed a difference with like generic Wii cables, but I'm sure there's some bad ones out there. But with PS2 and Xbox especially, I saw that thread that Mike Chi posted where he was going to give away some like extremely early prototype
Right.
of the
Of the
direct
system-specific.
system specific. Yeah, what I forget what it was called, like 5X Direct or something like that.
Yeah. I think that's what
I keep doing my button time, my bullet time, and like the worst possible directions. I'm not very good at it at all. But there were some people asking like, "Ooh, like Xbox, please," and he kept saying like, really, I think you need an HDMI mod for Xbox. Like, I don't think like the video output of it is very good, which is interesting. I mean, he's probably studied that more than we have. So I'd be curious to pick his brain for his thoughts on that. I mean, official cables definitely look pretty good, but I think in general, I think in general the systems vary a lot in terms of like different models.
Mm-hmm.
Train lit up like a Christmas tree. Power was back on.
I do like his like narration style here. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't Alan Wake kind of do that too?
Yeah.
To
Oh,
some
for
extent?
sure. Yes. Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
I mean, I've
this-
only played Alan Wake the one time.
when you play these, you'll realize that Remedy games have a very similar feel.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think I talked about it like
I mean-
after I played Control, but like the whole connected universe between Control, Alan Wake, and to some extent like Quantum Break and this, it's kind of it's interesting, and I think that's like something that has me pretty excited about, like the direction they're taking things.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gonna say, like, talking about like games we played in this year, the more I think about it, I think the Control might be like my favorite game I played all year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Over Ratchet and Clank and It Takes Two.
Well, I mean, It Takes Two. Like, I feel like that it's like that, like those two are gonna be like at the top, probably. Ratchet
mean,
and Clank, I liked a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to think what like I feel like at the time that we played It Takes Two, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my game of the year. But then like as time has passed, I'm like, well, it's like I don't know if it's actually the best game I played this year, but it was such a good experience. You know?
Yeah. Oh, totally. But I feel like I think of It Takes Two as kind of like a separate experience compared to like just like
A regular game.
a regular game. Yeah.
I agree. Like Ratchet and Clank though, like I mean, I played through it like twice immediately, which is like
Yeah. I mean, so did
that.
I.
That's just something I never do.
Yeah. But just Control, like it was such a weird. It's such a weird feel to it that made it really memorable.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess just like it's kind of weird, like the idea of
I've played like
this invisible building that changes shape and is.
Well, don't spoil.
Well, I mean, this is all like explained in the first like couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of. I mean, I've only played like 30 or 40 minutes of it, but I definitely. I mean, it's so weird. Like I I really, really liked Alan Wake a lot, but I think it's the only Remedy game I've actually finished, even though like I have like, well, I also Alan Wake's American Nightmare. Man,
Yeah.
I thought there was dogs barking at me. It's the sound effect of running through the water. There's like a very like woof 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 sound to the splooshy. It's weird. Yeah, woof woof woof. Right, Sandy? I like the limitation on the bullet time. Like, it doesn't seem like there's hardly much limitation at all.
It's that hourglass.
I know, but like I use it once and it goes down so little. I guess I don't know what makes it go back up though. I assumed it was just over time. But I have a really hard time using it effectively. I assume that's a staple in all three games.
The bullet time?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the third, Max Payne 3 is the one game I ordered on Monday that hasn't come yet. But I did buy new copies of Max Payne 2 and Binary Domain.
Someone was saying early on in the stream that Binary Domain went from $20 to $40 in the last week.
Well, good thing I got when I did. It's a great game. And I feel like, you know, because of how popular Yakuza is, it could definitely kind of find a new audience. It's a great game. I mean, that's the only Yakuza Studio game outside of Zero that I've finished. Oh, geez, I stepped into not a great situation. Oh, they got me. Definitely an interesting game.
You're not going to try the second game, right?
I mean, I'm worried.
I'd be kind of curious. Like
would the beginning of it spoil anything for me?
Gosh, I don't remember.
I mean, does it play very similarly?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think I should pop it in or not?
I'd be curious. It has been a long time since I played it.
Okay, I'll pop it in. Then after that, maybe I'll do either some Binary Domain or Beautiful Katamari.
That sounds good.
It drives me crazy how putting a disc in the Xbox like does not automatically like go to the Xbox, and it doesn't like it weirdly it just like shuffled it out of nowhere. But then it's not like the big, like the last thing you play is the big.
Yeah, there's so much
like
stuff about the
Xbox interface is. I like the 360 interface better, even though like I know like no one likes the current 360 interface as much as they have nostalgia for the blades, but
right. But looking at it only makes sense half the time.
There's a weird. Can you see it on the stream? There's like a weird little yellow vertical line that's like clearly should be part of the overscan. Can you see it? It's like at the very top right edge of. Oh, it just disappeared. Oh, jump is default A now. Use is on X. That sounds much more like what I would want.
Yeah, just if there is any, if there's any story, I just skip it.
Yeah. Oh wow, you only have one difficulty available. At least that's what it looks like.
There's a previously that probably recaps it.
The world was out of joint. I was hallucinating.
The fall of Max Payne. Oh, I didn't get to see his face. Ooh, it's widescreen. But the previous one was 4:3, right? I wasn't.
No, it's kind of a weird, like not full widescreen.
Yeah, but this is full widescreen for sure.
Yeah. This was out when, like 2004, I think.
I can't see Sam Lake's grimace. Is
No, he
his
looks
face...
a little different. I'm not sure if it's him in this one.
I'm trying to. There's no white dot. The roll looks a little smoother, I guess, a little more refined, maybe. Oh, it's vertical is inverted.
Oh, if you pause it, you might be able to see his face. Yeah, well, Sam Lake's face is Max Payne.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
he makes fun of it like in Alan Wake when he's like Sam Lake is on a like a talk show. It's like one of those in-universe talk shows in Alan Wake, and Sam Lake's on the talk show with Alan Wake, and they tell us Sam like, "Oh, do the face." You didn't see
that sounds a little bit familiar, but it's been so long since I played Alan Wake. I mean, I don't know, like somehow the less comical face just isn't doing it for me as much as the first game, you know?
Yeah, it's
iconic.
It's clearly not as good.
I know, it's funny saying.
Yeah, all the different TV shows, they have a lot of cool like in-universe stuff. Like, what was it? Is it the first one was like Captain Baseball Bat Boy or something like that? They all like build upon it in each one.
It keeps going in and out of these, like I guess he's like has a head injury or something, because it keeps going in and out of these like sort of fuzzy.
Call it denial.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The X button is the interact button.
Oh, what's her name? That woman is in the first one. It's like Mona something. Mona Sachs, I think her name is.
I mean, you know, this texture on the soda machine is like not amazing, but like I also kind of feel like there have been games in the last generation that didn't have textures any better than that on their soda machines, you know?
Yeah. Lords and Ladies is the other one is in this.
Interfecting kills your pain.
Alan Wake has Night Springs, and Night Springs is in Control. Because I mean, Control and Alan Wake are definitely connected.
Well, I am just amused by this. Like, is it like supposed to be like headshotting the pain? And like the kills has like a little blood dripping from it.
Yeah.
We care about your health. Do you like have a favorite between the first and the second?
I played the first one several times. I only played this one once. I think a lot of people would say that the second one is probably better playing, but I just played the first one several times, and I like the story in it. I don't remember much about the story, and I definitely want to replay this, and maybe I should just replay all three of them.
Oh look at these BVMs.
What?
That's just like a straight up like 20 M2 MDU. Like right there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like that is
I thought
literally.
you were talking about the bullet time death animation where he flies.
No, like it doesn't have much on the back, but like that is straight up like 20 M2 MDU or 20 L2.
Yeah.
Like
You can
that.
shoot it.
Like it's even got like the little white thing in the top middle. Like
Yeah.
Like that is just a photograph of one. That's amazing. Look at that. Sorry, I can't not look at CRTs when I see them in games.
He doesn't have the leopard print on. In this one, I don't think. In Max Payne 1 and 2, they went to the actual locations these games would take place in, took tons of photos, and planned them that way.
Oh. You know, I do have to admit that I kind of hate that Remedy calls their game engine the Remedy storytelling engine. Isn't that what it's called?
Oh, is that what they...
I think that's what it's actually called, which like is like, okay, that's fine and all, but sounds a little conceited, really.
Yeah.
A little full of themselves.
Well...
I mean, they are good at what they do.
Yeah, yeah, and, you know, like,
But
you'll see it,
still.
like... You know, like...
The engine's called Max
Control is,
FX,
it's
but
definitely a bit full of itself. In a good way, though.
I feel like Remedy's storytelling engines. I feel like they have at some point though, haven't they called it the Remedy storytelling engine? I swear, it's been called that at some point. I thought that was the current iteration.
For Love of the Game is saying the engine is called Max FX.
Yeah. Oh, or was that the engine in this game? That'd
Maybe.
be kind of amazing, actually. Northlight storytelling engine. Okay. Northlight, that does sound familiar. Like, the widescreen definitely kind of makes the view feel a lot more expansive in this, but in some ways I kind of feel like the textures in the first game were a lot higher resolution. But they probably had to dial that back a bit for console release. So wait, is this one on PS2 as well? For some reason, I
feel like it might not be on PS2.
I associate this
fun.
series with Xbox, and so that's why I'm just like.
This might be the
kinda
only
sure.
console release of it. I've never seen the Xbox game, or not the Xbox. If there is a PS2 version, I've never seen it before.
Look at this thing, right? Like I think this is supposed to just be a pile of trash, but it looks like looks like some sort of like water pump or water heater that just had a trash texture applied to it.
Okay, so it is on PS2. I've never seen it. I feel like I've never seen that in person. There's $7.77 from 7 Kurgan.
Ah, thank you.
thank you. Saying, maybe you guys know this or not, but I was able to use my physical disc of Dead or Alive 3, the Japanese version, to install with no problem.
But which version did it install? Because I was actually kind of considering looking into the Japanese versions of Otogi 1 and 2 are a lot cheaper. But I was like, kind of like, ooh, but I don't know what it would actually, if it would install it, or if it would install the Japanese version. I wasn't sure what it would do.
Oh, PS4 has a PS2 Classic available for Max Payne.
Oh, really?
Okay. I mean, I just...
But what about Max
wonder how
Payne
it is.
2?
Yeah, it just seemed like a game that benefited from the added, like, the better hardware.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only paid attention to it being on Xbox anyways.
But I like the current Xbox controller so much more than the original Xbox controller. So I'm glad for every backwards compatible game they can give me.
Supposedly, inserting a disc from a different region will download that region.
I figured it would. So that's so I'm glad I ordered the US versions of Otogi 1 and 2.
Right.
Do you know if I feel like every game I've played tonight, I think, has been 60 frames per second. Do you know if the frame rates were uncapped? Does anyone know if the frame rates were uncapped in these versions originally, or if they're like kind of getting frame rate boosted now?
Of Max Payne?
Well, of
I think
any of the games I've played tonight.
I feel that
that
Max
guy
Payne...
didn't die.
I don't know what it was on the original Xbox. I feel like it was not like a 30 frames per second game, though. Like, I feel like it had to have been uncapped or something.
Right, but I wonder if it actually consistently hit 60. Look at this. This is so interesting. Like, I feel like it's so obvious. Like, yes, of course I can run through this, but like, I feel like being able to like run through the like unoccupied sections of this like I feel like in most
There's
games,
no invisible wall there.
yeah, I feel like in most games like this right here, you know, there's clearly, you know, just an open part of the path would be like the only area I could run through. But here it's like, oh yeah, I mean, you could go, look, I can even step over this little dividing like support structure. Like there is collision detection there. Like if I'm too far to the left, there's collision detection. But then if I'm over to the right a little bit, he steps over it. Like that's actually kind of amazing. Like even today, I feel like you would generally not expect that kind of freedom in your navigation. Like that's actually kind of cool.
I was kind of sad that Bloodwake was not among the backwards compatible games.
I'm not familiar.
It's like Twisted Metal with boats.
Is it good?
I don't know. I never played it. I always just thought the name Bloodwake was hilarious.
It is kind of funny now that I know that it's about boats. Oh, I like the whoosh with the two hands reloading.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Guns akimbo.
Yup.
Oh, Bloodwake had a ton of licensed music. I'm not sure if it had Dragula in it, though. Although, I would not be in the slightest surprise if it did.
I'm so bad at making the bullet time look cool. Ooh,
I
look at
don't
these
know. Like
boxes.
that guy, you see him go flying there? You like it when he like throws his hands out and the clips go flying out, you mean?
Well, yeah, but like I'm always like when I do a bullet time, I'm always like running into walls or just not going with the
Oh.
coolest possible angle. I love like physics from this era. Like it's pushing stuff around. It's so fascinating.
Mellow Gaming says, on the Xbox, all games have Dragula if you use custom soundtracks.
Do you think I'm the only person who has ever played the music from a Sega Saturn Guardian Heroes disc on an Xbox Series X? Because I have absolutely done that.
Wait, you just use it as a CD player?
Well, no, I did it for the pre-stream when Drum and I played the 360 version of Guardian Heroes. Like for the pre-stream on the Backloggery, I like actually put in my Guardian Heroes Japanese game disc into my Series X. And was like, because I never played a CD from the current Xbox consoles. I was like, I don't even know if you can do this.
I didn't know if you could do that or not. I was actually surprised that you can.
Well, yeah, you can, and you can also like I was able to actually like boot up Guardian Heroes 360 on my Series X while it was playing the music from the music player app.
Yeah.
Off of, so I was actually using a Japanese Sega Saturn Guardian Heroes disc while it was like doing the title demos, like during the pre-stream. Like it totally works. And like you can like adjust like the sound balance between the game and the media player app. Like you can play CDs, just straight up play CDs. Can't do that on PS5. Can't do that on PS4.
They should advertise that feature more often.
Yeah. Oh, they got me.
Fahrenheit 38, you talk about solar for your house and how you did a lot of it yourself, hooked into the grid, but don't use any of it even in the winter. Did you get any state incentives? Like,
Don't do what in the winter?
Because I'm hooked into Fahrenheit 38 is saying I'm hooked into the grid, but I don't use any of it even in the winter. Like,
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
use any of the power. So I'm wondering if you, for the price you paid, did you get any state incentives? Because Kentucky has no state level incentives, only federal. What are you playing next?
I'll show you what I'm going to play next. I'm going to play the soundtrack of Monster Boy at the Cursed Kingdom just to show you that it can be done.
I want to see does it have like a visualizer?
Not really. Sandy, I'm going to sit there. Yeah, I'm going to sit here. Or just make yourself comfortable.
Is that a 2-disc soundtrack?
Yeah, I think so. It's just sitting down here because I haven't ripped it yet. Sandy, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit here. You don't
Oh yeah,
believe me
I
one
put
bit, do you?
CDs in my Sega CD play music all the time. or I put Sega CD games in my CD player. Listen, I did that a whole bunch, but I mean, Sega CD was my first CD player also.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you for moving. So it brings up groove music just like on your computer.
Oh, I don't.
I mean, like that's the default. That's the default.
Like, is groove? Like, what is that?
I think that's
Like,
just
I know-
what they. That's just what they call. That's just what they call their. Look, it brought up the title.
They use Grace Note for that stuff.
But see, they're. Oh man, this
Oh, that's
music.
neat. And we got $2 from Kelly saying, Sandy Camo Pup Tip.
More of a seat stealing, little seat stealer.
Maybe I should bring Nelly down here.
I'm not sure if you can actually rip.
Gonna rip.
So now playing artist is my wallpaper. I don't think you can actually rip.
It just like seems like not very well thought out.
Well, I mean, the app itself is very bare bones, but like, well, I mean, look, I'm listening to this and
Maybe you can't rip it because it's actually just like streaming it from.
no. I mean, let's see what's something I can play without a disc. I can play Hardcore Uprising without a disc.
Hard Corpse.
But look, it's just playing the soundtrack while I'm loading this game up here.
Kelly says I actively watch the stream every week just for Doggo cameos. Let me see if I'll go fill up my water and I'll see if I can grab Nell.
Oh, and
She's
see,
awake.
look, if I go to, if I go over here, like it's got like some controls here. Skip forward.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I'm gonna fill up my
Yeah.
water. I'll be right back.
There's somewhere though. I think there's. You can set like audio balance somewhere. Listen to this. Like this Monster Boy Japanese intro over Hardcore Uprising intro. This is amazing, right? Like what a stupid thing I'm doing on my Xbox Series X. Like I'm playing a CD. Like I'm actually way into how this Japanese version of the music is going over this opening F&B. And yes, I did this with a Guardian Heroes game disc. You could play that just like any other CD. Like it's. This music kind of works here too. Shh, Sandy. I'm like really into the idea of playing Contra Hardcore to Monster Boy music right now. There's somewhere that you can set the audio balance. Like, in fact, like, could I, like... Yeah, like, oh, man. Like, if I could just turn the music down, and then, how do you do this? definitely did this before. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Maybe. Oh yeah, it's like got the game on the controller on the left. So check this out. So I've now got them both at 100%. Now, isn't that kind of cool? Like you can actually you raise the other before the other starts going down. Like that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So, let me actually increase. Check this out. You know, I've never done anything like this before, honestly, where... But it's actually kind of fun.
Here she is.
So, I balanced... I turned off the game music, and I have the Monster Boy music played over... I turned off the game sound effects, but turned off the music. And so now I'm listening to Monster Boy soundtrack to Hardcore Uprising. It kind of really works.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up.
Oh, you got Nelly?
Yeah, she's right here.
Look at that little booger.
Yep.
She's just a little booger.
So tiny, right? Like she's so small. Yeah, it's so hard to see her face because of the. It's so dark. What I think is so funny about dogs, though, compared to cats, is like dogs just when they want to lay down and go to sleep, they just kind of flop on the ground and just go to sleep. And cats are they really have to find the exact place that they want to sleep.
I mean, you know, Sandy. I know that Sandy does like the pine at the ground thing.
Mm-hmm.
When she really wants to lay down for a while.
That's $2 from Kelly saying pup tip for the impossibly tiny Ewok dog. I feel like she kind of looks like Fizzgig from the Dark Crystal. Let's see her. She's so small. I wish I could make the light better, but she's just she's sleeping. She's like, why did you wake me up? Light on her face. Look at that face.
Sandy, when she was a little puppy, she used to go take naps under my bed. But eventually she couldn't do that anymore. my dog growing up, she used to flop down on the ground real hard. Like when she laid down to sleep, she just boom, just hit the ground real hard. Sandy is more slow and she kind of groans. She's just kind of when she's really bored, she just kind of stares at me this you're being boring look, and then she'll just slowly lay down and go, Sandy makes some very, I am bored sounds. Otogi win. I already played Otogi. It was good. But yeah, isn't that crazy? Who knew? I bet a lot of people had no idea you could play music CDs on current gen Xbox. I'm sure it works exactly the same on Xbox One, but
yeah. Surprisingly, my cat's sleeping right over here too. She's slightly off camera. The basement has been her favorite place since Nelly showed up. And I've made a whole bed, a comforter on my recliner that's down here. And she's just sleeps there all the time now. And I think that she's maybe kind of sort of depressed about the situation of the house. $5 from Joshua Helmicke. Thank you. Saying, remember when Coury played a CD on his 360 with the visualizer, and we all basically lost our minds.
I don't. When did you do
I
that?
don't remember that either.
Is it a really good visualizer?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. The visualizers on the PS3 are fantastic. I mean, it's silly, but I still use it for music a lot, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play Binary Domain. I beat this on
PS3.
I beat it on PS3. You got me my PS3 copy. It was like on it was on clearance, right?
Yeah, I got it for both of us. It was $2.98.
It's a great game. I definitely remember the story, like kind of like, especially toward the end, like kind of taking some like, whoa, that's kind of rough turns.
Adjust this so I can show everybody. So
Rust them up.
You want to go back up with mommy, don't you? Oh, she's sleeping right here. She's real fluffy.
Is she already? Is she? Is that brown that was coming in our back? Is it coming in a lot more even now?
It's just kind of underneath, I guess. It's a good mix.
Whoa!
I don't know. It is so funny, like, because I can't really relate to having a dog before, and just like all these different things and these different personality traits that I never really noticed or knew about dogs. But I knew that dogs were excited to see like people, like when somebody shows up. But it's like every morning.
Huh? I don't remember this.
Like she gets excited to see as soon as she sees somebody new for the first time that day. Like she's excited to see my wife when she's up, and then if I walk into the room, it's the first time she's seen me, then she just like kind of freaks out and comes over. And her little tail is like it's so small, but it kind of curls back, and it's just like a helicopter.
I honestly don't remember.
Can you play this game with like a voice chat or something like that, or like?
I guess you can like tell like use voice commands with your teammates apparently. But I definitely didn't do that on PS on PS3.
You can skip this if you don't need it. So you want to go over your gear and stuff or not? You know this stuff already.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of these like cover shooters. There's cover shooter craze. You just want
But this
that belly.
is definitely good looking. I'm sure it's 720p though, right?
Is there more backwards compatible Sega games than anybody else except for like Microsoft's own stuff?
Yeah, it's 720p, but it's got a very crisp look to it. Like, what's amazing though, I mean, since this is like got the FPS boost, like look how fast the camera turns. It's like kind of insane, like how fast it can turn. Like, but it like the stick like has a very very good range of sensitivity on it. Like it can move really slow, and then but then when you go all the way to the edge, it's like so fast. But this one's really good though. Like it's, I think it's, you know, it kind of creates its own identity among the third person shooters of this generation.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I.
Oh, bummer. But hey, you never know. You might score before the job's out. That'll fill your social calendar.
I mean, I remember thinking that, you know, like Vanquish was pretty good, but I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did. Like you really like. I mean, I liked it, but like I feel like this game kind of resonated with me a little more than Vanquish. But yeah, this. Like, man, like when I got up to my TV, I was like, okay, yeah, I can tell this is definitely 720p. But like sitting back here, like it looks really crisp for some reason. Like I get the frame rate definitely helps. Like I mean, when you've got that additional, you know, motion resolution, so to speak,
Yeah.
that just like makes a game look clear.
These characters look like their outfits look straight out of Vanquish. A lot of people are talking about Vanquish, and
I mean,
yeah,
it's
also.
definitely of that era. I mean, it's a fair comparison being, you know, this was a genre that was mostly tackled by Western developers in this.
Isn't this like the Yakuza studio?
It is, yeah. That's
That's cool.
and so like I mean, you know, Vanquish and this were, I guess, like Japan's big attempts at their take on, you know, the Gears of War-esque.
Yeah.
The Gears of War, Mass Effect sort of third-person shooter, which, you know, gives them a different flavor, I think, from, you know, the other games of that generation. Man, this, like, visually, like, this really holds up, though, I think. Like, I think it's a good-looking game. And the FPS boost is pretty amazing looking. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, there's just something about this that looks a lot crisper and cleaner to me than most 720p games. Like look at Big Bo's face. Like it's really well lit.
Big Bo.
Big
Him?
Bo. It's Big Bo.
Worst day of my life.
Wasn't my idea.
So.
Like, like this
So
is
yeah,
really
such
like
a-
I'm just
it's
really
done
impressed
it
looking at
entirely.
this. Like it's really good looking. Rain evokes MGS2. Yeah, I mean there's I definitely see that.
Dan, those things are bad news if they get too close. Stop them by shooting their legs.
Oh, that's right. Sonic
Foe after a solid head.
Sonic Racing Transformed got a back BC compatible, right? Like
Huh?
Didn't Sonic Team Racing Transformed?
Oh yeah,
was one of
I think that's true.
I have it on the Wii U, and that one had like a bunch of extra content. I think. Or if that stuff is that stuff on the 360 version? So I could see myself getting that. I mean, I like that game more than like even like Mario Kart.
I mean, I think that's a popular sentiment among Sega fans.
I wonder how much that one goes for.
Oh, is there something over here shooting? No. Oh, okay. Like, the enemies in this game are like robots, so there's like a ton of like body parts that you can like blow up and stuff.
Man, they just don't give up. Hey, Dan, this shit's in the way. Do something about it. That's what I'm talking about. Now we can move forward.
So it's transformed. Oh, it's not too bad.
Takes energy to fight.
It's like $16.
Don't go shooting it off like crazy.
It's the same game that's on Wii U, right?
Yeah.
But it's probably better.
You guys hear
here.
the dog snoring? Because she's just like squeaking a little bit.
Hey, a surveillance spot at 12. Yes, now. Call reinforcements.
Wait, yeah, I guess she makes us sound like all night. I woke up my cat over here, so she's awake now.
Good job, man.
I feel like I might need
I keep being thrown off because RB is reload, which is like, you know, that's like equivalent to how Uncharted is, but like I feel like Uncharted was like one of the only games that actually put reload there, so it's like throwing me off.
Gears of War has it on right bumper.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's the one that like.
I thought that was the game that like standardized like the X button, but I've not played much.
Oh no, like the right bumper in Gears of War, because you can if you like press the button again at a certain point in the reload animation, it'll like give you more powerful bullets, like the active reload or whatever it is. There's like a progress bar on the reload.
But like Mass Effect put reload on X, and I feel like that became the standard, and I feel like it still is.
Mass Effect. Oh yeah. Oh, I don't know. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run her back upstairs. She does not wanna. You can hear her snoring. And she's like asleep. Here, hang on.
Oh my gosh!
Ready?
That is the most hilarious noise ever. Oh my gosh.
With dead meat if they spot it.
Alright, I'll be right back.
That is a hilarious snore. Yeah, it's pretty funny, Sandy. I wish you could hear it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Woof.
Got surveillance spots. Dan, take cover underwater.
I don't remember this opening mission at all.
Ooh, we dodged a bullet there. Now we gotta hurry. Make up for lost time. Over here, bro. What do you say? Good exercise, huh? Get in shape, save the world. We got our priorities straight. Spot us if you come out now. Sit tight a little longer. Let's go.
Surprised it didn't route sound from desktop into a separate audio output onto separate. I mean, I've got some cheapo speakers connected to my computer, but it's hard. Like when Coury is streaming, I usually listen to him off of those, but when I'm streaming, I like to use headphones because it's hard for me to hear Coury over the over like all the sounds of the game.
You can kind of see Soph over there sleeping here. Sophia. You can see her in the chair. Look at this. I've like made this comforter bed for her, and it's like. See if I can make her up here. Hang on.
I have zero memory of this mission.
There she is.
Job done. Hope it's a touch more chilled on the flip side. Got my doubts though.
Well, Asia has binary domain for 1049 PAL version.
Oh.
There you go. I mean, are there any restrictions on current gen of putting in games from consoles that did have region locking? Because I think someone said, like, I honestly don't know what the region lock situation was on original Xbox. I believe it was region locked because, like, Metal Wolf Chaos, I think, like, you had to have, like, a mod to play the Japanese version or, you know, a Japanese Xbox.
Still, that was a little too flashy for a top secret op.
You know, honestly, I think
Yeah, time for the wire gun.
like this definitely holds up.
All right. think
Do you have the
these are
Xbox
our
version of
express
this?
elevators. Take care.
No.
You should get it. I mean, it's a good game.
Well, if it's $40, I'm not going to do it for $40. If I saw it someplace, I'll keep an eye out
Ain't
for it.
got all day.
Yeah, but someone was saying that you could get the PAL version for a lot cheaper.
Yeah. So, like, we were talking the other day about, or like last night we were talking about Black Friday deals. Like, it's so stupid. If you think about like Black Friday deals, it's like not even Black Friday deals anymore. It's
No,
like you get
well, I
the
mean,
same deal,
especially
like, a week before.
especially not even that.
Like a
Like
week
this year,
before
it's
and
been
a
like
week after.
it's been like everywhere has been like advertising like Black Friday deals, prices guaranteed for like the past month.
Yeah. It's just the idea that Black Friday has become like this thing that, you know, like every like so many like stores and stuff like have it's Black Friday in July. You know, like all the time. Like they just have like anytime they have a big sale, it's like Black Friday. It doesn't matter when it is. Like it's no longer like about that it actually being the day.
Yeah.
It's like now it's just like a term for things are majorly on sale.
I was telling you, I can't believe Guardians of the Galaxy already has deals for $30.
I was looking at it at a.
I wonder if
I
it's
saw it
going
at
to
Target
stay
earlier
that
today.
price. I mean, it's crazy because like everyone's been saying like it is shockingly good.
Well, that's the thing that's like the most mind blowing aspect of it, and you know I told you about it yesterday. Is like when we were watching the E3 reveal of it, like we were actively disinterested.
Yeah. And like,
We were just saying, like, oh, man, it's
I
like,
mean,
I
John
don't
was
even
too,
care.
and like John played through the whole thing and was like, it was amazing.
Yeah, like I'm definitely curious because of that. And if it's $30, and the thing is, you know, like most games, I'm just starting to feel is like, yes, it's just like the price that they are now is the price drop before the price drop.
Yeah.
Like they'll get these games will get like price drops, and by this time next year, like they'll just like normally always be the prices that they're selling for right now, or lower. You know, if Guardians is already going 30 right now, I feel like is maybe like not doing as well as they had hoped, and they'll probably spur it on. But like I guarantee you that like.
Well, it's such a
It'll be
shame
$20
too
at
because
some
I feel
point.
like none of
5 to 6
IDOS Montreal's games have like been all that successful, and I feel like they are so much better than Crystal Dynamics games, like visually, gameplay wise, like, but especially visually. Like I feel like Crystal Dynamics just like they're like, it seems like they're always like trading off series and stuff. Like, you know, they did like the main Avengers game. I just feel like Crystal Dynamics or like a lot of the games just like, especially like Rise of the Tomb Raider, just look really visually boring. And then like Shadow of the Tomb Raider is just such a more visually interesting game. Like they just have better art in general.
Yeah, I see some people in the chat talking about Returnal, and that's definitely something I'm interested in.
The roguelike elements
Yeah, but
definitely
it almost
scare me a
doesn't
little.
feel like it. What's that?
The roguelike elements definitely scare me a little.
Yeah, but like there's something about it that I think that isn't that like part of the story progression though is also dying and doing it again.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's pretty common in that genre, basically.
But there's a lot of things I was looking at, and you know, there's some buy two get one free and stuff like that, and I had them in my cart, and I'm like, I'm just gonna wait. Like I would love to
Buy
get the
nanos.
PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima. and but that's like $50. But you know, I guarantee you that when am actually going to play it, it'll be
Yeah.
$24.99.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like Guardians of the Galaxy is real tempting at 30, but it's like I've got so much else to play right now. Like, it'll be 20 next year.
Now. It is like literally like so much to play forever.
Yeah.
For the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
honestly.
basically. Ow! Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. A lot of games this generation did this kind of thing.
Oh yeah. You know, we went to like the lighting of the Christmas tree here in Newport last night, and afterwards, my son and I went into GameWorks, which is like one of the few remaining GameWorks, and they had this giant UFO catcher in there, and since it's like, you know, partly or was partly owned by Sega, like there's this gigantic Knuckles plushie in there. Like, oh man, like everything else is like garbage in here, but they had this really cool like giant Knuckles. But I was real disappointed that they got rid of Afterburner Climax in there.
But
they did have Cruise and Blast, and
yeah,
my kids were playing Cruise and Blast, and they had an awesome time with it. And I immediately went home and I like ordered a Switch copy because it was
$25 on Best Buy, right?
Yeah, it's $25. But you know, I see people talking about Tomb Raider, like the Tomb Raider reboot, and I didn't even know that there was a arcade game, an on-rail shooter.
What?
Arcade game based on
the Crystal Dynamics
reboot.
Like with that character model and stuff?
Players. And what?
With like that character model? Or do you even play
it? Yeah, it looks like it is. And you know, everybody has like the handguns, and you have to you pull back the top to reload.
That's funny.
And you know, my son and I played Time Crisis Raising Storm with this giant machine gun, and it was like shaking his whole body when he was using it. And he's like, you know what I like about arcades is they have like actual things you can pick up and use. I'm like, of course you're gonna like this giant machine gun.
I mean, it's cool to hear a youngin', you know. And when I was telling you, like, you know, I bet every kid who goes in there and plays Cruise and Blast, and then they like learn that you can buy it on the Switch, they're going to immediately be like, I want that now, you know?
Right.
Like it's cool for kids these days to have that experience, just like we did.
Yeah, well, see, No Pants in the chat saying it's so weird how arcades are still a thing. The games look worse than consoles for the most part. But, you know, I think it is about that, those big machine guns and, you know, like the, it's about, like, the experience of, like, using the cabinet in some way. Is why, like, I think that, you know, there's a big Luigi's Mansion machine in there you sit in, and you have, like, everyone has, like, the vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, it is interesting though. I mean, like, it's definitely not where the technological, you know, masterpieces are now. But yeah, I mean, I remember, you know, there was this place, you know, in the Disney area in Florida. I don't know if it's still there now. It was called Disney Quest. And like my cousins had been several times, and you know, I was like so excited to go, and it was pretty neat. But like even then, like it was already like kind of getting to that point where it's like the Wii was out and stuff, and it's like, you know, you you could still get, some of these like sort of, experiences at home now,
Yeah.
Like in terms of like, these like motion controls and stuff. It's like, well, I can do that on my Wii at home, and then the PS3 also looks better. So
There was $5 from Eric Fox. Thank you. Say never owned an Xbox console, but will probably get a Series S because of backwards compatibility. I always sold my old consoles. Keep up the good work.
thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's like if you're just gonna want a digital system.
I mean,
I think it's a great choice. I was surprised to see that there is one, or that there was one at or there's two of them at Target today. The Series S.
Oh, just sitting there, huh?
Just sitting there.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
wonder
if
if
you've
they-
got a good digital library, or are willing to build a good digital library of like backwards compatible stuff, then for sure.
I'm kind of getting a little nervous about if the Switch lights are going to be tough to find, because like both my kids have been incessant about wanting Switch lights,
Oh yeah.
and I've seen them plenty of times places, but now it's like, oh well, maybe I'll try to get them some, and like of course like my daughter wants the coral one, and my son wants the kind of bluish purple one.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the-
that
like the
one's
cool-
that one's really cool looking.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's like the only like especially good color. Like in general, Nintendo has really struck out, in my opinion, on Switch colors in general. Like,
Yeah.
just some of their color combos are just weird. I think. Like,
I really like the white of the OLED. Did
Yeah,
you
but I feel
look at any
like-
of that B-roll that I put up?
yeah, I haven't actually looked at it yet. I thought that was in the next section I was going to be editing, but it's actually the next section. So, but yeah, I'll.
I didn't ask what color they wanted. They just saw all the colors and they said, "Oh, I want the coral, like the pink one."
Well, I've been playing this a while and it's really fun. But I
So
can't.
yeah, pick one more.
Yeah, I'll
to
pick,
write it out.
pick one more and we'll finish. I really want to replay it. Like I think it's really good. And I'm shocked how good it looks even without a resolution bump. That FPS boost helps a ton for sure.
People are, Dad1153 is saying Sonic Generations.
I could. I've already tested that. I kind of wanted to do Katamari.
But if I am able to get them Switch lights, I'm gonna do the thing that like a lot of parents, or that I've heard a lot of people say, is I'm gonna like update their system and install their profile and everything like on it beforehand, and then put it back in the box. Because I created. Well, my daughter already had one, but like Nintendo IDs, and like put them on my family plan. But I'm going to do that all like beforehand.
Tell y'all all what. I'll put in Sonic Unleashed after I play a little bit of Katamari.
Sonic Unleashed or Sonic Generations?
Unleashed. I mean, I've popped in.
Wait, you have Sonic Unleashed?
I do, yeah.
Oh.
I forget. It was because John was raving about it. John was saying it's actually pretty good. And, it was cheap, or at least it was cheap when I got it. But
I got this one at Goodwill. It's one of my last good finds.
I'll pop that in just because a lot of people are really interested in that one because I believe there's no PC port. So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't do it on stream, but I did test Sonic Generations, which it is indeed 4K and it is indeed 60 FPS. Pretty crazy.
There's $5 from Face Lord. Thank you. saying, "Thanks for the stream. Thanks for the stream tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Really passionate about backwards compatibility. I jumped ship and got my first Xbox after a life of PlayStation/PC. I wonder if there's a lot of people in that situation.
Maybe. I mean,
the backwards compatibility has been the deciding factor for them.
yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with it. I mean, especially the 360 library is really, really solid for what's available on backwards compatibility. I mean, and two, it is a motivator for people to get a console when they could play, Xbox games on PC. But when you really consider that, like, for $500, like, you get this, complete box, whether that is a Series X or a PS5, that, does all this stuff that's like for the less than the price of like a super good graphics card, and it's going to be relevant for, probably, 8 years.
So I got this one at Goodwill. It was like $3. That was like one of the last good finds that I had. But I'm not sure if this is even considered to be really good or not.
I honestly don't know either. Like I
after the second game, like I don't know anything.
I basically don't either. I mean, I've like played some demo. Like, is this one still totally exclusive to 360? Because there was,
I think so.
Because I know that one came somewhat early eventually to PS3, but I think is that Katamari Forever?
That's the PS3 one, right?
I
I don't even know how many came out. It just seemed like there was a lot of
few.
them.
I almost bought the Vita one several times, but never did. Well, Zumi says it is exclusive and very good. I mean, the second game, like, sort of made me lose interest in continuing to follow the series.
Well, it falls into that Super Monkey Ball kind of thing, where they lose, like, the levels are more like gimmicks. Like, oh, you got to catch all, like, just only roll up the campfires.
Yep. Yeah, it was all like, there were missions in there were missions in the first game where it's like, oh, you have to get a bunch of crabs. But then the focus was still like make the biggest Katamari, and that to me was always those were always the most fun levels.
Yeah.
And I have no idea if the series like kind of got back to that or if they still like stuck with the gimmick levels. Like, I want to say the PS3 game definitely gave the demo of it, Katamari Forever, like definitely gave me a gimmick levels vibe, and that was why I never ended up getting it. But like Katamari, the first Katamari is like, I mean, is one of my favorite games on the system.
But I mean, it's
PS2.
true. Like if you think about it, it is very similar to the Monkey Ball situation, where like all the people like what they really just want is the first game. That's why they remade it.
I mean, this is 60 frames per second. Is this 60 frames per second on original hardware, or is this got FPS?
I never tried it. I don't think.
Let me look if it has FPS boost. It doesn't have FPS boost. I wonder if it was uncapped or if it actually was hitting 60 FPS.
Mega X6 donated $5. Thank you. Saying, I got my brother the Zelda Game & Watch because it has the original Link's Awakening on it. The original is so hard to find.
Oh no, the floor is being picked up now. That's funny.
What is interesting, like I had totally forgot about the Zelda Game & Watch until like people started saying like, oh, it's out.
Yeah, like I got it, but I haven't even opened it. I actually ordered because I was like, what am I going to do with this thing? I actually ordered from Rose Colored Gaming to, because I already had one Game & Watch stand for my real Game & Watch that I have. See, this is actually, this level's actually, I mean, this is pretty clever. Like, it's gimmicky, but it's also like, what I love about the original Katamari is just the sense of like, how the world expands and changes around. I mean, it doesn't change, but your perception of it changes as it gets bigger and bigger. And you realize that, oh, there's so many more places you could go than it initially looked like. That's what makes it so special. And like this like puzzle piece concept is like capturing that pretty well here. But anyway, what were we talking about?
There's $5 from Dad1153. Thank you. Saying Sony and Nintendo are dropping backwards compatibility ball that Microsoft is running with. Even if it's tiny market share, new backwards compatible customers now firmly within Microsoft's ecosystem. And that's true. I mean, people are just, once they realize in the future that like a lot of these games will continue to be supported on future systems, it's smart. It's like playing this really long game, like playing, you know what I mean, like the long-term game. So is that the end of the level?
Tornado on the GameCube? I've never heard of that.
Tornado? I mean, there's games on the, there's a Katamari game on the PSP, right? Was there one on the Vita?
Yeah, there was. I don't remember what it's called. Oh, isn't that Touch My Katamari? I think that's what it's called. Touch My Katamari.
That's pretty funny. Because I mean, the idea that a Katamari can be anything, right? I guess it's made up of anything. Touch My Katamari.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I would count on Nintendo rebooting the Virtual Console again.
Oh.
I'm counting on it. I mean, imagine if they didn't. It's like, what if everybody's games just carried over since the Wii, and they're still carrying over? Wouldn't that be awesome? Imagine it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely hoping that, like, everything from here forward is going to carry forward, you know, for a long time, if not, you know, virtually forever. Like, because Nintendo, like, with the success they've had with the Switch, I feel like there's just no way they can justify, like, taking away people's libraries on new platform, you know? Like, they have to continue with you know, with backwards compatibility. Normally I would read all this stuff, but am I going to make everyone's Katamari? What is everyone's Katamari? Oh, this is like some online thing. Oh,
that's
is this-
the cover art for the first game?
Is this like a... Okay, I guess is the Cosmos the online stuff? Where are levels? I want to play levels. Are these levels? This must be a level. So he's like saying like I need to roll up like fun things. Hi, Sandy. Hi.
Are you gonna play Sonic? It's after 11, so I just want to make sure. I gotta get up at 5.
Yeah, I gotta get up early tomorrow as well.
So yeah, just play Sonic for a minute.
Yeah,
and
I
then...
just wanted to take a look here. This looks great though. I'm actually like, oh.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
really-
it seems like a nice,
Nice version.
well, just like a relaxing thing.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I could play Katamari anytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, seems really cool. But yeah, I will appease people by showing one Sonic.
Oh, the Switch doesn't have menu music, does it?
No, which I know you don't like menu music, but
Yeah, I always turn it off.
I miss it. Do you? I mean, do you not even like? Where'd I put my controller? Do you not even like the Wii menu music? Like that's classic.
No, I'm not saying that I don't like it. I just don't want it playing all the time. If I have my TV on and I walk away from it to do something, or if I'm like at my computer and I like leave it on the menu or something like that, like I don't like the music just playing all the time.
See, like I actually like sometimes like I'll just like leave my system on and like eat dinner, like not necessarily something like the Wii, but like the PS4 or PS5 system music is just like really chill and relaxing.
Yeah, well, I like it's not bad, but if they had it so that you could turn it on, and if there's an option to make it like slowly fade out after like 2 minutes, then I'd be into that. But like I just don't want, like, if I just get caught up in doing something, like if I was like, say, had a phone call and I like pause the game and go out to the menu, like I don't want that music just like playing the entire time.
Actually, I just remembered what was the main reason that I got this game. Because it was the best level in Sonic Generations and the best music. Like the music in that level is incredible. But I don't think I actually got that far in this game. When I started, I was streaming on the Backloggery, but I was having like insane internet trouble. And like the stream just did not go very well, so
There was $5 from Shadow Mask saying Tim Rogers said, "Don't trust someone who leaves the PS4 menu music on."
Did he actually say that?
Did he say that?
Or is that just something you imagine he would say?
I don't know. Said he did. He did say that.
I love that music. It's great.
And it's fine. I just don't want to play it all the time.
It does not bother me at all. So apparently I'm supposed to go see some professor. Oh, maybe here.
And I think like the Wii, you can't turn it off. If you could turn it off on the Wii, I'd probably turn it off.
It was a little bit before the tremors hit. This old man showed up with a whole pack of robots.
Kinto Zero says it's fine for the first 200 hours you have the system. Then it gets old.
I like it. Like it doesn't feel like it loops very often. Like it might, but like it doesn't really like go anywhere or anything. So it doesn't feel repetitive to me. Like it just sort of creates a pleasant ambiance. I love it.
I just don't want it. Like, I mean, who spends more than a minute or two on a menu screen? Like, the thing I think about is, like, if I need to like walk away from it for a few minutes, like if I am like playing, I need to do something on my computer. I don't want to like leave the game running, but I want to back out to the menu. Like, I just don't want the music or the sound like playing over and over and over again.
Apparently I'm supposed to be doing some kind of busy work. So unfortunately I probably can't actually get into a level very quickly. But you can see, here it is. It's running 60 frames per second. It's not 4K though, but the 60 FPS definitely makes it look a lot better.
Oh, okay. You can turn off the Wii music if you mod your system. I think I may have done that on my modded system.
Sandy loves that music. Like as soon as she hears it, she like comes running.
I guess that's not even like music; it's just sound.
Yeah, well, but so is the PS4 and PS5. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, but you know,
I would say that the Wii is almost more music than the PS4 or PS5. Like, it's just ambient sounds on PS4 and PS5. I don't really see what's offensive about it at all.
yeah, I mean, like it's not offensive. I just don't like want the sound, I want the noise.
I like it. It's not noise. But, you know, unfortunately, not every game that has FPS boost is perfectly smooth. Like, I booted up Lightning Returns, and it was definitely not very smooth. To my eye, this looks quite smooth, but I'm no John Lennon. But Lightning Returns, I could definitely see plenty of hitches. And Oblivion, like, depending on the area, but that's like to be expected with a game like that. But what's cool is those games also have a 4K resolution boost. So this does not, but, you know.
Sonic Generation does. Isn't that 4K?
It does, but this game doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
This game is definitely 720p, but, you know, it doesn't look that bad. And honestly, like, seeing 720p visuals at this kind of frame rate is, you know, I mean, it definitely makes it feel like above what you would expect of a game of this generation, you know? So it kind of tricks your brain into thinking like, oh, this is more impressive than it looks. This game does not have good auto HDR. The highlights on the tiles, because I booted this up and ran around this area before. Like this tile could look like way over bright with auto HDR. Works well in some games, not in others. But anyway, yeah, we both gotta get up early-ish tomorrow, so we better
I get up early every day now.
Well, yeah, but I do have to get up early tomorrow. I mean, not as early as you're going to get up, but very early for me. All right. Well, we're going to be working on the Switch controllers episode.
Yeah.
And
you know, like, hopefully it's going to be out. Like, it'll hopefully be out like right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was hoping it could be out by Thanksgiving, but I don't. I think we're going to just barely.
Like I don't
miss
think I'm gonna be able to make it, but it's gonna be like an hour and a half long.
At least.
It's going to. We're testing out like over 100 games
Yeah.
in the video.
So it's. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, there's a possibility it might be out by like Saturday or something, but don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean, it really depends. I mean, we have with the holiday and everybody. I hope that everybody in the U.S. who celebrates Thanksgiving, I hope everyone has a good holiday. And yeah. Thanks to everybody who donated tonight. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging in there with us.
Sandy's really looking at the NPCs walking about here. Can you see them?
Like, look at that. Look at that little monkey, like a flying monkey.
Yeah. See that flying monkey?
What
Sandy?
is it?
What is? Well, she really, she really
it's
wants to go
Switch
take a
Online
look.
controllers. So the whole episode is focused
Look at
on
that, Sandy. Yeah, she's going to go take a look. She wants to see.
the whole episode is about playing, like, what games
Regular Switch
you play
games.
with the Switch Online.
The
controller.
games that aren't the ones that, they made the controllers for. But it does
Right.
include, like, compilations, like, Collection of Mana or whatever. But that's
there's
still
stuff like
not
that.
what the controller was made for. It was made for the
Right.
Switch Online app. So we look at stuff like that. We look at, Mario Party Superstars. You saw me stream that the other week with the N64 controller. We look at, and things aren't always like, some things it's like, it's perfect. There's no concession. Sometimes it's like, you can mostly play with this, but you might not be able to do this like an essential thing. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. But for the most part, we're looking at games that do work well. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is Eric Fox says the lack of remapping is going to be real painful, and some games have like built-in remapping, but I think that makes them more interesting.
It does because if you could remap them at the system level, which you can't, it would almost make it too broad. So for us, it's a nice restraining factor.
I mean, I bet they add it later on, but
I don't know. I kind of don't think
maybe
they
not.
will.
Like, I don't know, but there's certain things like, I'm constantly coming up with like, oh, I should actually put this in there. Like today, like kind of a last minute thing. It's like, oh, I should see how Super Monkey Ball, the new one that came out. Like, let's try that with the N64 controller, and it's actually like really good. So, I don't know. It's kind of neat. Like but there's a lot of things you can't do with the N64 controller in that game. You can't like get into like the party games because it doesn't have an X button, and you need to be able to like get into the party game selection like using the X button. So you got to use another controller for that stuff.
But anyway.
Yeah, but anyways.
Good night, everyone. Oh, did we catch the 499 from Reluctant Hero saying Happy Thanksgiving? Thanks for the stream.
We didn't, but we just did. Thank you.
Thank you.
And take care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.